Oh, hi guys, in today's video I'll be talking about how did I actually go to school for the 9 months of my pregnancy. So I don't really remember the correct date or the I can't tell you guys the exact date and time because I don't remember, to be honest, but I remember going to school. At first, I think I went back to school January. Yeah, went back to school in January. Last year. Yes, last year January. I was because would have got the Christmas break and so on. In January, I was like 4 months pregnant. At first, it was hard because I throughout my pregnancy I had vomiting, I had morning sickness every day, and I had all of that throughout my pregnancy. So at first, going to school, it was hard due to the fact that I was experiencing morning sickness, and I oftentimes have headache, and I feel bad, I feel disgusting. And being at school, I didn't even know what to eat most of the times. So what I would do most times, I would go to Mandeville in the morning and get fruits, and then I would go back to school and I would eat the fruits for lunch because that's what I actually feel for. Like, I couldn't eat nothing at the school, so I had to purchase what I want before I actually go to school most mornings. So, going to school at first, as I mentioned, was hard. Why? Most of the times I'm at school, and being in a whole school environment where there's a lot of persons, and persons will be noticing you like, hmm? So I sometimes I would go to school and I'd be in I'd be in class. I would feel like I want to vomit. I would feel like I just feel weird, and I mean most of the times I'll ask to go to the bathroom because I would I was just not feeling well. And it passed and passed, and I remember when we had foods practical. No, y'all know being pregnant. Uh Certain type of food and certain type of smell just get you upset. So in the foods lab, I was there, and honestly I tried to keep up because guess what? Everyone is having their practical. It will look so weird if I vomit in front of everybody. That would be so disgusting. So I tried my best to keep up in the foods lab, and someone asked a question: how did I manage to keep it a secret from my schoolmates when I was pregnant? No. The thing is, the school that I attended, I just always think they are strict due to certain things, and being pregnant and going to school, like, it was the worst feeling ever. And I didn't feel good about it. I didn't feel good sharing my pregnancy with any of my schoolmates, and it just felt awful. However, I had this one friend at school where we are close, and I'd always tell her anything. So she was the only person I actually told at first while going to school. And I think I told her when I was like 3 months, I told her. And I trusted her. Because I didn't expect her to tell anybody. So that's why I even told her like I would want someone to know that I'm actually pregnant at school. So me at school, before we got the holiday, I think we got Ash Wednesday holiday, and I was admitted in the hospital. No, I posted the drip thing on my wrist and my status, and I mean everyone was asking, "You're okay? You're good?" You know, and I was saying, "Yes, I'm fine." I was just admitted in the hospital. I didn't tell anyone at school the reason why I was actually admitted at the hospital, because I didn't want anyone to, be telling other persons that person tell somebody else, and they're about the whole school will just find out about it, right? So I, when we got the break and I was going back to school, I said, am I going to go back to school? Like, my uniform, my belly started to get big underneath the uniform skirt, and I said, knowing me, I have really flat belly, like my belly is. So seeing that Britannia came back to school with bloated, and everybody would be wondering. And I'm not someone who usually wears jacket. Like, I don't like wearing jacket. So going back to school, and how can I be cold all day? Like, how can I be cold from I reach school until school is over? Like, and it's an all day school. So I mean, when I was in, like, I didn't like walking through the auditorium, especially when fifth farmers are in there that know me, and I didn't like walking through the auditorium. And I, whenever I reach school, I would walk through the front and go around to, not let all them students see me that is around the auditorium side. So I know a lot of persons at school usually looked at me a certain way and said, I wonder if Britannia pregnant, or what happened to Britannia? Why she look like that, or why she wearing the jacket every day? Like, if it was someone else in my situation, I would wonder the same thing. Like, why is she wearing the jacket every day? So I went ahead, and honestly, I was ashamed. When I said ashamed, I was completely ashamed. Why? I had to wear a jacket every day to see if I could hide my pregnancy from everyone at school. And I mean, I always say, like, how long can I do this for? Like, how long will I able to do it? And I went ahead and I felt like shit being at school. Like, among everyone, I felt that I'm just the only student in the whole school pregnant, and being at school, it was so hard. It was devastating. I had anxiety issues being seated at certain areas, and students look at me and they probably have assumptions about something about me. As I remember one day I was in the auditorium and a group of girls called me, and I just looked around and I said yes, and I didn't even go. Why? Because I knew they were going to ask me something about my pregnancy. So I didn't go, I just responded and said yes. I was at the point now where we had CXC and when we had CXC and I think CXC, they said CXC was in May. In May I would be um I would be like 8 months. In May I'd be like in 8 months. And being at school when it was the day when they said sexy date is going to change and listen, my head went like this, legit, like my head spinned completely because I said what, sexy is going to be in June, like what am I going to do, how am I going to do any of them? And I said by June to July I'm going to be 9 months and what am I going to do? And I came home and I cried. And I said, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And came home and looked in the mirror because listen, the mirror was actually my friend at times. I look in the mirror and I talk to myself. And whenever I would be talking to myself, like I would say, what am I going to do? How am I going to do this? And I would figure out stuff and I would say, okay, I'm so far in this, so I'm just going to continue doing this. And I continued. I think we got a break and then we went back to school. I think we got a week break or 2 week break and we went back to school to do our exams. And this was the part that hits me the most. This hits me harder than anything else. When one of the rules were no jackets were allowed in the examination room. No. Due to that no jackets were allowed in the examination room, I said, hell no, what am I going to do? Like, how am I going to hide this? Like, what will I do? Listen, I put myself and my child at risk because I went into the examination and I was like, when you sink in your belly but you're still breathing, like that's what I did. Like I did that every day and I don't take off the jacket until I am about to step in the examination room. And I always try my best to reach school like half hour before the examination so I could reach in there before the crowd. And because being the last person and a lot of attention is already on me, being the last person to go in that examination room will be a whole worse. If you go in there and you cannot find the center number, like you'll be like, shit, hell no, where am I going to go? What am I going to do? And I went in there. As I said, I went like this until I reached in there and I sat down and I would try to pull my uniform over my knee. I would try to do that. But I didn't mention, when I was going back to school, I extended the waist of my uniform. So, it wasn't tight or it wasn't too big where it will fall off me or nothing like that. It was just when I go like this, it will ease down a bit. So, that was what I did. And to be honest, it was hard. when I went into the examination room, and sometimes I always have sweets. If any of my friends are watching this video, they can comment. I always have sweet, whether it's a bag of gummy bear or I'll have the stick sweetie in the exam. And I go in there with my sweet because being pregnant, sweets will allow you to at least feel better at times when you're in certain situations. So I'd have my sweet in there. So being in there, I would say, wonder if nobody is looking, wonder if nobody is noticing anything, or and I would sit down. I'll just eat my sweets. I'll just eat them, eat them, eat them, eat them. So throughout the exam, I would feel normal and comfortable. The baby would feel, to me, the baby would feel better. So yeah. So while I was in the examination room and eating my sweets and all of that, I would always feel comfortable. But listen, sometimes the exams are like 2 hours, and sometimes they said, oh, you only get one bathroom break. Being pregnant, we pregnant people, we urinate a lot. So to know that she said, oh, I don't even remember what she said about the 2 hours and bathroom break, but listen, I'll go to the bathroom before I have the exam, and I won't come out. I don't come out until I'm through with the exams, because guess what? I don't want to walk on that corridor and one of the teachers see me, or anyone sees me. So I didn't use the bathroom without the jacket. I would wait until the exam is finished. I would put my jacket on, head to the bathroom, head home. No. I remember having, like, I think some of them is 1.5 hour, and she would say no bathroom break, and uh no one will be getting any bathroom break until exam is over. You all can go and use the bathroom. So if you need to go and use if you need to go and empty your bladder from now, go and do it. That would be there like, should I really, what do I do? Suppose I go and urinate, and in the exam I want to go and urinate. As by this time, none of the invigilators knew I was pregnant. So I said, what will I do? What will I do? And I sat there. I agreed, and I sat there, and I didn't say anything. I didn't mention anything. There was this one specific day that I was in the exam, and listen, in the middle of every exam that I did, the baby would be moving, and I look down at my uniform, be like, uniform is dancing. And I would look around and say, I wonder if anyone is looking. I wonder if anyone is seeing what is happening. And I don't know if anyone saw or nothing like that, but I don't know. And this specific day, like, I just had a sun flash where I thought I was going to have morning sickness, and I was like, and I dropped on the bench, and I was like raising my hand, and I drop again. I was trying to do like this, and I put my head on the desk, and I was trying to hold my hand up, and it's like none of the invigilators saw me until about 5 minutes later. And listen, when I say I really needed to go outside to get some air or breeze, I tell you, like, I really needed to go outside to get some air. So, to me, that's how I managed to actually be at school while I was pregnant. And so that's how I actually tried my best to complete high school while I was pregnant. And it was hard emotionally, mentally, all of them, Alice. It was hard. It was hard. But I I've been through it. I tell you, it is the worst feeling on earth, having to be around a whole school, being pregnant, and everyone is thinking this of you, everyone is thinking that of you. And you know it wasn't easy. Not at all. It wasn't easy. I had like schoolmates that they are my friends. I would see them and call to them and listen. I distance myself from all of them. I would just see them on the school compound and they call to me and I say hi, and I just walk past. And I didn't feel good about that because they were persons who I talked to at times and who So listen, I would never tell anyone that going to school while pregnant is the best thing. Like, it is the worst. You feel alone all by yourself because guess what? It's not a woman center where the whole school will be pregnant. It's you alone. It is you alone. So I managed and I completed it and I'm through. And listen, be encouraged by your child. If you're already in this situation, make your child be your biggest motivator and let him or her motivate you, because it is not easy, it is not pretty, no matter how you try to speak with somebody. Like, it's just. So thanks for making it to the end of my video. I think my next video will be about my labor and delivery story time. So stay tuned.